Attraction isn't about looks, it's about energy, confidence, and presence. The moment you stop chasing and start becoming, everything changes. This message will shift how you see women and how they see you. Watch till the end, it might just wake up the version of you she can't resist. Comment where you're watching from, and don't forget to subscribe for more life-changing You See. Attraction doesn't begin with what you wear, how tall you are, or what car you drive. It begins in the space that can't be seen, your presence. A woman might notice your looks, yes, but what she truly feels is your energy, that quiet confidence that says, I'm at peace with myself. Because before she's attracted to your body, she's drawn to your state of being. That's what creates emotional gravity, the kind that pulls her attention without you having to say a word. When you walk into a room with that energy, something shifts. Not because you're trying to be noticed, but because you're fully there. You're not fidgeting, not seeking validation, not performing. You're grounded in who you are. That's emotional presence. The ability to occupy your space with calm assurance. And women can feel it immediately. Psychology calls it emotional contagion, the invisible transfer of energy between two people. If your energy is scattered, she feels uneasy. If your energy is still, she feels safe. It's that simple, yet that powerful. Most men chase attraction by trying to impress. They talk too much, over-explain, or try to prove their worth. But what they don't realize is that women don't fall for words. They fall for how those words make them feel. And often, silence speaks louder than 1,000 attempts to sound interesting. The man who listens, who observes, who maintains calm eye contact without forcing a smile, he radiates confidence. He's not trying to win her, he's letting her choose to be drawn in. There's a reason why emotional presence is more attractive than appearance. Because presence speaks of control, not control over her, but control over yourself. It tells her that you're emotionally disciplined, that you don't get shaken easily. And to a woman, that feels like safety. She can sense when a man is centered within himself, when his emotions aren't dictated by her reaction, but anchored in his own peace. That's when attraction starts to form naturally, even if she wasn't initially interested. Philosophically, presence is the essence of masculinity. To be still in a world that's constantly loud, to be unbothered by external chaos. It's not about dominating, it's about stabilizing. Because the truth is, a woman doesn't always want the loudest man in the room. She wants the one who makes the room feel calm. The one whose silence says, I'm enough. And here's the thing, presence can't be faked. You can mimic confidence for a few minutes, but energy doesn't lie. True presence is built through self-awareness, purpose, and emotional discipline. It's the byproduct of knowing who you are and being okay with it. So if you want to make a woman want you, stop trying to get her attention. Start mastering your energy. Walk with peace, speak with intention, and stand in stillness. Because in a world full of noise, the man who is calm becomes unforgettable. One of the most misunderstood truths about attraction is this: you cannot make someone truly want you by needing them. Desire does not grow in the soil of desperation. It grows in the soil of self-assurance. When you crave someone's validation, you send out an unspoken signal that says, you are above me. And the moment that dynamic exists, attraction collapses. A woman is not drawn to the man who tries to convince her to choose him. She's drawn to the man who's already chosen himself. This is where the art of non-attachment comes in. Non-attachment doesn't mean indifference or pretending not to care. It means you desire connection, but your identity doesn't depend on it. You're open to her, but not controlled by her response. That's emotional maturity. And to a woman, that's rare and magnetic. Because when a man operates from non-attachment, his energy feels different. There's calm in his voice, stillness in his demeanor, and confidence in his actions. He doesn't chase approval, he extends value. Psychologically, this works because women, consciously or not, are drawn to men who represent stability. A man who can hold his own emotional ground shows he can hold space for others too. He's not reactive, not easily swayed by rejection or silence. He's the kind of man who remains composed when others would crumble. And that composure communicates power, not in the aggressive sense, but in the quiet, self-contained way that says, I'm good with or without you. Now, here's the paradox. The moment you stop trying to make her like you, she starts to notice you differently. Your energy shifts from needing to being, from chasing to choosing. Suddenly, your words carry more weight, your absence feels stronger, and your presence feels more valuable. That's because your attention becomes a gift, not a request. And psychologically, If people value what isn't easily available, it's important to understand that this isn't a game or a manipulation tactic. It's alignment. You're aligning your focus back to what you can control yourself. You can't control her feelings, but you can control how you show up. You can control your energy, your standards, and your responses. When you do, you project emotional independence, and that's what keeps a woman intrigued. She may not have been interested at first, but now she's curious. She wonders, why doesn't he need my validation? Why does he seem so sure of himself? That curiosity becomes the spark that changes everything. Philosophically, non-attachment is freedom. It's realizing that love, interest, and attraction lose their purity when mixed with fear of loss. The moment you detach from needing an outcome, you make space for genuine connection to grow. You stop trying to force attraction and start allowing it to happen naturally because you're no longer seeking from emptiness but sharing from fullness. So remember this: want her, but don't need her, desire connection, but never lose yourself in it. Because the man who can walk away with peace is the one every woman secretly hopes will stay. Purpose. It's the quiet force behind every truly magnetic man. When a man knows where he's going, when he has direction, ambition, and drive, something about him becomes unshakable. His energy changes. He stops asking for permission to exist. He no longer moves through life trying to impress. Instead, he moves with intent. And that intent, that deep alignment with his purpose, is what makes him irresistibly attractive. Because a man who leads himself doesn't need to chase anyone else. A woman can sense purpose almost instantly. It's not in what you say, but in the rhythm of your life, how you handle your time, your goals, your emotions. When you have direction, you move differently. You speak with clarity, you act with confidence, and you radiate focus. That energy is powerful because it tells her you're not lost. You know who you are and where you're going. And in female psychology, that sense of certainty is deeply appealing. It's not about dominance. It's about emotional leadership. It tells her, you can trust my presence. When you lack purpose, everything else begins to feel like a chase. You start seeking fulfillment in external validation, from people, from relationships, from fleeting attention. But when you live with purpose, the need for constant reassurance disappears. You no longer approach women to feel complete, you approach them to share completeness. And that distinction is everything. Because attraction, at its core, isn't about filling a void, it's about resonating with someone who recognizes your energy. Psychologically, purpose gives you emotional grounding. It creates an internal compass that keeps you stable even when life tests you, and women, on a subconscious level, are drawn to men who remain composed under pressure. It's not just about how successful you are, it's about how centered you stay when things get hard. That emotional steadiness communicates reliability, maturity, and strength, the foundation of attraction that lasts beyond surface interest. Philosophically, purpose gives life meaning, and meaning gives a man power. Because when you know what you stand for, you stop being swayed by temporary emotions. You become deliberate, selective, and patient. You're not impressed by noise because you've learned to hear rhythm beneath it. That's the kind of man who inspires admiration without demanding it. A woman doesn't just see confidence, she feels it. She feels the calm of a man who isn't lost, the fire of a man who's driven, and the balance of a man who's whole within himself. When you live with purpose, you naturally command attention without ever asking for it. You don't need to convince anyone of your value because your life already demonstrates it. You're walking proof of focus, resilience, and passion, and that's the rarest kind of attraction there is. So, if you want to make any woman want you, don't chase her, chase your calling. Build your purpose until your energy speaks for you. Because when a man becomes obsessed with his growth, his presence becomes the one thing no woman can ignore.